I'm trying to see what are those banners behind you? I see the beers with bands. What are the
Yep,
others?
and then I have Life Lessons right over here,
Cool.
Major League right here.
Cool.
Off camera, I have a Forever Keep Calling, Knuckle Puck, and a mixtapes as well.
Hell yeah, I'm really preferential to that mixtapes one in particular.
Yeah, it's the good one too. It's like that's one band that I really miss and I wish would like just
Yep.
do something again. It would be sick.
Yep. Totally agree. Love mixtapes. I saw them. I don't know if you ever heard when Wonder Years did that 24-hour tour for Greatest Generations, where they played in Chicago, Philly, New York, and I think a fourth place, all in 24
Okay.
hours. But I went
Jeez.
to I went to the Chicago show, and mixtapes open for them, and that show started at like 9:30 in the morning. So I saw Wonder Years and mixtapes at like 10 a.m. and it was really, really weird, but really cool.
Dude, hell
And now
yeah.
I
I
don't
think
ever want to listen to mixtapes later than like 11 a.m.
but my only question for you guys before we get started, I know you're already sipping on a couple beers, but do you have an unopened one that you'd like to participate in the opening crack with?
Aha. But thank you, thank you. And Brand, you can
If,
pretend to crack your cold
well, here,
brew.
can I open one and then someone else can drink it?
I will drink it for you.
Perfect.
You
Hell
gonna
yeah.
break edge to crack
You,
them?
this is where I finally do it.
Oh
This is
no!
what finally
Oh
does it.
no!
No. Well, if it was going to be on any podcast, I'm
I'm
happy
glad
it
it's
was
this
mine.
one.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. In
Cheers.
three, two, one. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. Very stoked on this episode. I'm sitting down with LaterGator. How y'all doing?
Woo!
Yeah.
Well,
Dude, I'm happy we're doing this episode. One, you guys have some sick stuff out, but two, like to work me into the same day you guys have a show tonight. I know you guys had a show a couple days ago. Very commendable to work this into the schedule. Like I know a lot of people would be like, no, we gotta like eat and like practice and rehearse and do all this stuff. But I'm happy you guys worked me in.
Practicing, rehearsing. That's
we do better unprepared.
Who does that?
work better under pressure.
Before we get too far, can you kind of go around the room and say who you are and what you do in LaterGator?
Sure. Yeah. I'm Jonathan. I play guitar and do some vocals and also play trumpet on occasion in Later Gator.
Hello, I'm Brandon. I play drums and do vocals on occasion for Later Gator.
I'm Pugs. I sing and I play bass.
Hell yeah.
You do vocals on
It,
most
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 occasions.
occasions.
Yes.
and I mean, you guys are putting on some sick stuff for people that aren't aware of LaterGator. It's rock music from Indianapolis. I also loved the Bandcamp little bio was loud, twinkly, trumpety stuff. Uh, because for some of the songs it makes sense. Obviously, I think in the email I even mentioned it. Like the way I really found LaterGator was the TikTok that you did of like the emo final boss because you're shredding on guitar, tapping away while also playing the trumpet, which is the first I've ever seen someone do that. Like I get like playing keys and doing something, or I've seen people do kick flips while playing guitar and shredding. But first time I've seen someone play a horn instrument and still play their guitar. So that was amazing to see.
Thanks. Yeah. Credit goes out to one of the folks who played with in Bloomington for the Midwest emo final boss thing. That was we got a real kick out of that one. Yeah.
I remember like well before we had that song like written, put together and stuff like that. I remember we were doing a practice, and I remember like in passing, Jonathan saying something like, "Oh yeah, I have this like thing I'm kind of working on, and I've like kind of figured out how to play trumpet and guitar at the same time for it." And I remember just like in that moment not believing him at all.
Not clicking.
And I remember he
Not
like
clicking.
mentioned it in passing, and then I think it was like two or three practices later he like showed us, and like not only could he do it, but he did it, and it was so cool. Um, and so we've just been like riding that wave ever since for that.
And then I think I saw like before we get into everything else, like I think I saw you had reposted on Twitter someone had kind of one upped you or tried to one up you, and they're playing saxophone and guitar at the same time.
Yeah.
Like
That was
how do
really
you
cool.
how do you feel like that you're starting like this now kind of trend, at least like the first that I've seen? of it going around.
I'm absolutely here for it. And that was New Town that posted that video. They're an awesome band, and yeah, I mean, I'd love to see more stuff like this going on. And I think Brandon made the funny comment of like, we can have the weirdest ska band
Yeah.
ever if we keep this trend going. Just so many guitars, so many brass instruments. Yeah, no, I'd love to do that. I also really liked No Problemo. Kate put out as just like a joke video kind of thing of all right, LaterGator, I'm doing your same shtick, but just like making a bunch of random noise on both the guitar and the horn, just like kazoo kind of sounds out of it. It was that was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we're starting something there.
Hell yeah. You know, and then like it's also crazy because like I kind of went through you know, did some due diligence obviously for one of these and was going through the Instagram. You guys have really only been a band since like later 2023. I know that the first singles, Whispers and Breathe into the Bargain, came out in I think it was December 2023. So 2024 has been like a solid year for the three of you. Seeing all the shows you've gotten to play, all the homies that you guys have gotten to meet and kind of build those relationships with, kind of take me back to those initial days because I saw something about like band in a hat. Like what was that, and like how did that spark this whole LaterGator story that we're in?
Yeah, that was kind of a fun origin story for us. That was how Pugs and I met. Was through this. It's a tape label called RTR in Bloomington, Indiana. That does. I don't know when the last time they did it. Would have been like 3 or 4 years ago, pre-pandemic or something. They did it before, but they'll do a band in a hat deal. So like the two of us just filled out a Google form that's like, my name is Jonathan and I play guitar, and they send us in a group chat.
And, like these are your influences. This is the kind of music that I like to play. And
yeah. Yeah, so we had some overlap and that sort of thing, and they stuck us in a group chat together and said, "Cool, write some songs. You got a show booked and to play like a 2-song set in a few weeks."
yeah, like a little showcase, like three to four songs, I think is what they said.
Yeah,
But like, you know, some of them can they can be either covers, original, doesn't really matter, but just, you know, show up, have fun. If your band doesn't work out, like it's not a big deal. You know, it's just a fun showcase for random people to get thrown into a group and make something happen out of it.
yeah. And Pug showed up like first time we'd ever met with the riff and idea in mind for that Whispers song that we released in December of last year or 2 years ago now. And so yeah, we were jamming on that like first practice and just really jumped right into it. Like a real testament to like just how great he is at writing songs and everything like that, to jump in with everything right that way, and to do that in just a couple months and jump into everything was really fun. And then thankfully Brandon moved to town very soon thereafter, and we were able to get him into the mix.
Yeah,
and,
there used to be five of us.
yeah, the attrition rate was pretty fast after the initial.
There used to be 5 of you, and that was before I was there.
That's true. A lot of gators here, a lot of
gators.
later gators.
That's awesome that you guys came together from just like a fun whimsical like, you know, showcase type of deal. Like I've heard of some cities doing those, some scenes doing those, but it's nice to see that like it stuck around and you guys like made a good enough connection to like take everything to that next level and keep doing LaterGator.
Yeah, it is so hard to find great bandmates, and it was a really great lucky break for us that we all got together that way.
Yeah, I feel like really lucky that I like stumbled on to them the way that I did, because I was like super involved in my music scene growing up in like Illinois, and then I moved to Nashville for college and was like super involved in that music scene, and then I moved to Cincinnati for work and just spent 2 years like not doing music all of a sudden. So then when I moved to Indianapolis, I knew Indianapolis had a good local music scene, so I wanted to be super like mindful of like getting back into doing music and getting in with the scene and stuff. Um, and so the first thing I did was I posted on the like Facebook Indiana local music, whatever, just being like, I'm moving to Indianapolis. Here's some of the music I've put out. Does anybody want to play music? And for the most part, like, did not get the crowd that I was looking for. This isn't a joke. I got invited to 2 separate ZZ Top cover bands from off the back of that post. And like, I believe it or not, by looking at me, but like that wasn't exactly the goal.
His beard is not long enough for ZZ Top.
Yeah.
But then my friend Nish, who's in the band 10 Months Summer, saw that post and gave me the invite to the DIY.
The DIY Discord. Right?
Yeah, the DIY
Yeah.
Discord. And then Jonathan and I like connected on there, and then I came here, and now here we are.
I was really going after Brandon. I responded to two of his posts on different social media platforms.
Well,
being
it was
hey.
like right after we like our original drummer said, "Hey, I'm gonna focus on my main project," and so it was like the timing couldn't have been more perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, and like I was desperate enough to get back into music that when I was like making those posts and stuff like that, I was prepared to find a group of people and like would be like fun to play music with, and we'd play a show once a month, and then we wouldn't like really like do any like think about each other past that, just like doing something in passing. And so I felt I felt and feel very lucky that I ended up finding a couple people that like not only do I love playing music with, but have just like become friends that like I like and enjoy spending time with. I feel very lucky that I stumbled onto that.
Dude, hell yeah. Because I feel like it's uh at least lately with like everyone I'm talking to, it's like very rare that you find a band that kind of just came together uh almost randomly. Because I feel like most people right now are, we've been playing together for like 15 years or something like that. Like this is our third or fourth band, and like this is the one that's kind of working out. Like we're all a little bit more serious, so it's nice to see that like there's still like the hallmark stories out there of like people getting together and creating something wonderful.
Get us the LaterGator Christmas special. That's
Uh, and I do gotta bring up one thing too for the cover art for the singles. I loved the video of the breakdown of like how you did that with a beer can. Like that was so genius and so cool to see happen. And like something that you getting like those behind the scenes like secrets on like how people come up with like those things. Not everyone's putting it out, so it's nice that one you guys did that video, but it's also cool just to see how it was done.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. The picture is, I mean, super grainy and everything, obviously, but it works all right as that kind of deal. But it was a
DIY
fun
or die.
process. Yeah,
Yeah.
very Beards with Bands coded too to to have the beer can album art. Yeah.
Uh, but like that, like we said, came out December of 23, and then you followed up almost a year later, November 22nd, 24, with your debut EP, Hard to Say. At the time of this recording, it's been out for a month and like a couple weeks, a month and a half almost. Like, how does it feel to have that piece, that this whole chapter of LaterGator finally out in the world?
It's really exciting to have this out. We've been working on this one for a while. Most of the songs on that EP are ones that we wrote right around the same time that our first set of singles released, and like we've been playing those live for, I mean, pretty much the entirety of 2024. And started the recording process in April, I think, of 24.
Sounds about right.
And I mean, got most of the tracking done in the first couple weeks of things there, but then spent the better part of the next few months, adding additional little bits to the production and tweaking the songs. And we had a great experience working with Nicholas Starantino, who was the mixing and mastering engineer on that. He's just a fantastic creative input on these sorts of things, and did a fantastic job mixing it as well. So it was really well worth the effort over the like 6 months or whatever it was between when we first started recording and actually shipped things out to streaming. Yeah, so it was quite the process, and really I feel like it flexed the creative muscles of all of us. Yeah, and the reception's been incredible. It's been so fun to have this out.
Yeah, dude, it's such a solid EP. And like I said, I obviously found you from that TikTok, which that TikTok was with the song True Blues, which is the trumpet. I love horns in any DIY song, so like that one like just took me right away. But like the rest of this EP is just still amazing. It's so nice to see like the whole like scrolling through Twitter and just seeing it on everyone's 5x5s every week since it's been out. Like the love it's getting, I feel like it's well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, it's been just a wild process of things, and so much more than than any of us expected, I think. And yeah, absolute heartfelt shout out to everybody who's sharing the music on social media and everything like that. Like this is one of those that, yeah, even though we're doing our usual due diligence as a band to post, things on TikTok to try and rope people in or whatever else, but like so much of this is just a word of mouth and like that DIY community kind of thing that's getting the word out about our songs and saying so many nice things. So yeah, I could not have done that without everybody who's in the scene here.
It's been something that's been really endearing to see and be a part of, because like we've been making the joke for as long as we've been playing True Blues now, of like the whole, like that being our party trick, like the drum and guitar thing. Like that's always the thing, we know when we're playing our sets, that's always when people start like recording on their phones and stuff like that, and that's always the thing that people cheer the loudest for. And so like we've always made the joke that like we're gonna like that's our party trick, and we're gonna ride those coattails for as long as
Till
possible.
we're 90.
Yeah, exactly. We have to make Jonathan write 10 more songs, playing guitar and trumpet at the same time. But it's been like so sweet and like kind of validating that like even though that is like the thing that's like making people watch on TikTok, making people like look us up on Spotify and stuff like that, people being like, "Oh, this like entire EP is actually awesome." Like that's been really really sweet to hear, and like has meant a lot to me, I know. And so like yeah, that's what we've done to like rope a lot of people in, but it's been really cool because of the incredible DIY scene around us, how many people have like stuck around after.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that was one of those where I had really hoped that people were going to connect with things beyond just the party trick aspect of it, right? And particularly because I mean with Brandon and Pugs doing so much incredible writing on this album, that like they're, and particularly with True Blues, that's one that the lyrics and the vocals, or the vocal melody and everything is all a Brandon production there, and he did an incredible job with it. Like these two are some of my absolute favorite songwriters. So like I always feel like a little silly being one of those people who listens to my own band a bunch because of that, but like I genuinely really love what these two write. And so the fact that people are connecting with what they're putting out beyond just the surface level party trick aspect of things means the world to me. I'm glad that they're getting the appreciation they deserve.
Yeah, this is definitely one that, like, yes, you come for True Blues, but you stay for everything. Like even like it's obviously, you know, True Blues is later in its track 4, so you get hit in the face by Spaceman Spiff right away, and like it's so good, and you're like, fuck, like this is the same band that's doing the horns in True Blues, because it's like a different aspect, a little bit more like heavier sound than what like True Blues is, especially with the horn in there. But like you guys do it so well, and then you're just like, okay, I need to see where the rest of this goes, and you're just not disappointed the entire ride.
Thanks.
Thanks
Yeah.
so much.
I like that a lot of folks have been getting the Spaceman Spiff, Spaceman Spliff thing back and forth happening a lot. We'll jokingly put it as that in our set list half the time. I think we've talked about doing a Spaceman and True Blues mashup, as you know, the spliff in there. And see what we can do there.
Smoking Spaceman spliffs.
Exactly.
And I did want to point out one thing too is, you know, a lot of people in the emo scene, they always flock to a specific free throw song, specifically 2 beers in, because, you know, of the feels it gives you, especially when you hit that second beer and you're just feeling some type of way. But now we have a band that is you've done the third beer in the line. So now I'm really curious as to like who's done the first beer and when are we going to get the fourth beer from another band.
We've added to the cinematic universe.
Yeah, just to have like a whole discography of just like which beer you're on and how you should be feeling for a night.
We'll do a tour with Real Big Fish, who has beer.
Yes. Yes.
Free throw that has 2 beers in. Our third beer, and then we'll someday the prophecy will come of the 4th beer.
Yes. Somebody it was a guy that we really like on Twitter named David, who I think we'll get to meet in person at Fauxchella. He posted it. He did a playlist of that same sort of thing. That was beer by Real Big Fish and 2 beers in, and then our third beer, and it was like one more beer by 95 Corolla too. Like there's a lot of great stuff in that cinematic universe.
Yeah, that'd be sick just to see. I'll have to check out that playlist because I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, you know, obviously like making breakfast, but thinking about beer, you know, as one does. But yeah, I'll have to check that out because that's amazing. I feel like it'd be interesting too to see if he has it on there. I think it's I can't remember the name of the song, but Big D in the kids table, they have like that one song where like they just sit there and chug the entire time in the music video. If you haven't watched that, definitely worth a watch.
I'll have to recommend that to add to the list. Yeah.
They have notes about your beer playlist.
Suggestions, please.
Kind of funny. Not to get analytical, but your beer playlist is lacking songs about beer.
It's me, the sober member of LaterGator, here with some input on your beer playlist.
But I mean, like I said, this EP is so well done. I love also what you were doing for the merch of like doing the crocheted gators to kind of go along with them. A nice little additional touch that I don't feel like not a lot of bands are like doing like a little mascot, I guess. I don't know if that's what you would call them. That you're putting together.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun. My wife Lillian makes those and is slowly giving herself carpal tunnel trying to keep up with demand lately.
For the band.
It is
God
for the
bless her.
band, and we appreciate her dearly for all of that. And it's also been a lot of fun just that like folks have been taking it as a little bit of that sort of mascot thing. We sent a gator to our friend Riley out in Austin, I believe, who's been taking photos and sneaking in a little like Where's Waldo moment with the gator and a lot of things there for other bands.
Same thing with my buddy Chris and Marcy. They're actually in Ireland right now, and they've sent us like they've taken trips to like the UK because Chris is from Yorkshire, but they'll take pictures with the gator at like these castles.
Yes.
And it's just the gators are traveling. Shout out to Chris and Marcy.
The photo updates on the gators are some of my favorite things about this. Yeah, I love seeing.
And then
travel.
here pretty soon you get to take your own gator on a little trip, because you kind of mentioned it, you kind of said it, and I'd be remiss not to bring it up, but you guys are playing Fauxchella 8 this year. Congratulations!
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we are so excited.
It's such a stacked lineup, and it's crazy because like that shit just got announced and all the weekend passes are already sold out, which is amazing.
Yeah, the folks at Summit Shack and Connor for putting that together have done an incredible job. I was able to go last year just to attend and had a fantastic time. So the fact that we get to go all three of us this year and like be on the bill is super cool. It's some of my favorite bands around.
Yeah, I'm hopefully. I don't know. Weekend passes sold out, so I got to see what the day passes end up looking like. But because my dumbass was like, I'll wait till I get paid. So we'll see what happens because like there's so many people that are even last year like both bills like there's so many people that have been on the podcast that I've never gotten to meet in person, and it's like the one spot to like see everyone and have a good time, and I'm stoked for you guys to be able to play.
Yeah, it's a real DIY scene family reunion kind of feel there of folks you don't get to see often or meet in person ever. So we're excited. We'll have to see if we can break out any new music for that or new merch ideas. Or I like that there's a handful of folks who have been chatting around.
Got some surprises in the sleeve, up the sleeve.
Oh, yeah, we already got some surprises up our sleeves. I forgot.
It's gonna be good.
Yes,
it's gonna be fun.
So we'll stay tuned on all that.
Hell yeah! Well, everyone that's going to Fauxchella so far, be ready for those surprises. If I don't go, you all have to tell me what it is.
Absolutely.
Expect an essay from everybody that attends.
It's a
MLA format.
T-shirt.
Yeah,
we're gonna sell beers with bands T-shirts.
Rip off merch.
It's our big surprise.
Selling bootleg beers with bands merch. That's our deal.
That's gonna be called Bands with Beers.
Buds.
Yeah, it's gonna have like Sonic in different colors on it.
I wouldn't even be mad. Like I'd probably ask for a couple. Just hold on. So I don't want to word this. Like I've said, this EP is truly great. Like I as someone that has listened to it multiple times, especially today, my big thought, and I don't want to get too far ahead with it only being a couple months out so far, but like how do you guys follow this up at this point?
That's a good question. I mean, like Brandon mentioned, they have been keeping me chained to my desk with a trumpet in my hand for a while, writing more True Blues like riffs. So hopefully we'll have a few
clicks.
Till it's 90.
So we do have a few more things in the works that are kind of similar to that, but we have been having some conversations around like I love it when bands mix up some degree of their sound and like have this release has this kind of tone and this release has this other kind of tone, and to really evolve sonically like that. And I think we're having some conversations now about keeping a lot of the same spirit of what we liked about how Hard to Say turned out, but also keeping things refreshed and interesting. So
I think that's gonna be, and I'm super excited about this, honestly. But like, for hard to say, for pretty much all of those songs, at least to like some extent, we we all like had them a little bit. At least like we had a riff that we had been sitting on, or some lyrics. Like, all of us kind of had these 5 songs between like whichever of us wrote them to some extent. And so kind of the writing process for hard to say was like, we all came to this band with like a song that was anywhere from like 10 to 60% fleshed out, and the like creative process was all of us working together to like turn those into LaterGator songs, and like turn them into something like tangible, and turn them into like this EP. And I think because like, I think that's the version of like cohesion that exists on this EP because of that, because we all helped like flesh them out. But now we get to do the exciting part of like now we get to write this new stuff completely from the ground up together. And I think like that's the version of cohesion that's going to be really exciting about whatever we release next. Is like, it's going to be all of us kind of getting to have hands on everything from the get-go, and I think that's going to help grow us a little bit, but still like put our own stylings that we did.
Absolutely. I would say like True Blues really felt like a true collaboration between all 3 of us. Just you know, it's Brandon's song with Jonathan's trumpet and guitar, but I sang on and put, you know, some different parts, different harmonies and stuff on it. But like the getting to start from scratch, not necessarily from scratch, but like learning each other's musical languages and being able to kind of really dive in on new stuff is really exciting. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
yeah, the learning each other's musical languages part has been a big part of that for sure. Where particularly this will happen with Pugs and I, where you know, Pugs has a much less like of the weird open tunings kind of background than I do, and writes much more like pop accessible songs, and I write the like complicated, annoying math rock stuff a lot of the time, and use my like open tunings and things. So much of what we're the 2 of us are doing is figuring out that like, all right, Pugs has this like ordinary person would play this easily in standard kind of thing. How do we work this in my stupid annoying
Let's make
tuning?
it so much more complicated.
Yes, and like, and how we meet in the middle on these sorts of things. And so like that sort of like we're learning a lot, I think, about, and I'm certainly learning a lot about how to operate in a not exclusively weird emo math rocky space, and like, and getting that pop punk and hardcore element into the way that I'm writing with guitar parts there too. And yeah, we've got a really good intersection of different musical influences here that are that really come out when we do that sort of writing from scratch kind of process.
The Venn diagram.
Oh
yeah.
yes, yeah.
It's a Venn diagram of, yeah, it's fun.
Well, if True Blues is any glimpses to what it's going to be like going into the future with the 3 of you, like I'm fucking stoked because it's going to come out so killer.
Yeah, I love the group that we got here. We talked about this a fair bit already, but obviously we all like each other quite a lot, and we all like each other's creative output here. So yeah, we're really excited about that process. We've been pretty busy with you know, holidays and shows and a whole variety of things there. But I think we're gonna have a little bit of breathing room over the next couple of months to really sit down and do some serious writing there, which should be a good time.
And you know, like you said, you've been playing a decent amount of shows. Obviously, you're going to take a little a breather here in a while. But like, do you guys plan to do any runs this year, like tours, weekenders, or anything like that planned?
Yeah, that's one that we've been having some conversations about. 'Cause we've got a lot of fantastic folks who have come through Indy that we've gotten to play with from around the Midwest that we'd love to go out to their home turf and play shows with them again. And then just in general, you know, getting to see some new folks and things there. I actually meant to tell you guys we had some folks reach out about a possible weekender in the fall too. So we got to coordinate schedules and things here. So we're definitely that's definitely on our radar, and we'd love to be doing more of that. Tricky thing is always just balancing work schedules and all that sort of thing. I don't think any of us are planning to quit our day jobs anytime soon. So that's
not until you write more of those trumpet and guitar.
it's all hinging on me. That's no, I ain't happening anytime soon. So getting schedules worked out there is tricky. But we'd love to do that. Like I said, we've gotten so many fantastic folks who have invited us to join them on shows here in Indy, and we'd love to do the same sort of thing for them in their home turf.
Now, look, we've kind of mentioned, doing these weekenders and doing Fauxchella. If someone's going to be seeing you for the first time at one of those two like instances, like what can they expect from from LaterGator at a live setting?
Can they expect from us?
Funny bands.
Yeah.
Charming attitude.
Dashing good looks.
Dashing good looks.
Yes.
Just the sharpest wit could cut pennies. Like,
Yep.
We've never recycled jokes at multiple.
Nope.
ever.
Impeccable banter.
Do
No,
that.
no dead air. Never a broken string. That's for sure.
No.
Especially not when Brandon asks me
And
about it.
certainly not after spending multiple minutes talking about how you're not going to break strings.
Exactly.
10 out of 10 perform like perfection. Expect perfection. Expect it to just be, like Beethoven just dropping a deuce on the Mona Lisa, like just perfection.
Honestly, and that's what I want people
Such a
to
way
picture.
with words. Folks.
That-
We have such a way with words.
That's what I hope people picture when they hear us.
Yeah. No, we definitely come from a fairly like heavier music background for a lot of us, especially with the live context on things. So I love it when thankfully we've had more folks coming out to shows lately that are really interested in moving around and getting things going and really getting the energy up in a live show kind of environment. So a lot of what we
Mix it up, dance around a bit.
yeah,
have fun.
we like to we may keep things a little rough around the edges as far as not hitting all the notes 100% of the time necessarily.
and we do that on purpose.
Exactly, it's for the vibes. It's to make it punk.
It's to make it fun.
No, so definitely that's one of those where yeah, we love getting some crowd involvement and that sort of thing. It's been so much fun for me, at least. Now that we've got Hard to Say out, seeing some folks singing the words back to us. The show we played on Tuesday was the first time that anybody that like I don't know personally and like have known for years has been like singing words back to us live. And so like obviously it's super cool when like your best friends are doing that, but also like they're doing that because you've sent them the EP like months in advance and everything. But so like for people to have found us naturally and do that is a whole different deal.
When people come to a show that have no obligation to be there is like such a special thing.
Yes.
Like, because like obviously it's so great when like friends and family and stuff like that come to support you, and I'm not discrediting that, but when someone is just like that show on Tuesday, it was a Tuesday night show, like after an awful day of snowing all day, and there are like some people that like don't know us personally that just like wanted to see us play, so they braved the cold and came to that show is like such a beautiful thing, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing. Whenever that happens, because like, yes, you can annoy your friends as much as you want to like try and come to a show, but to like not have when it's someone that you didn't have to like go out of your way to like, hey man, I got this show coming up, and they're just there because they saw a flyer somewhere or heard of you somehow, and like stuck around. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, huge agree.
Yep.
It's nice. It's also like a nice way to kind of like gauge like how you're doing. I feel like in the scene too, because like if you can get people that like aren't your normal inner circle to come out, like that just shows like, hey, we've had growth. Like this has been nice.
Yeah, and I love hearing from folks too that like aren't normally listening to a ton of emo music or aren't normally going to a ton of like local shows too, and that doesn't happen all that often, but like when there are new folks getting introduced to this sort of thing for the first time, that's what makes like that. I love hearing those kinds of stories because I think there is such an incredible local music scene around indie, and there is so much great music coming out in the world of DIY emo. So to help be kind of that gateway drug for people to get into all this sort of thing is just I mean, I've really benefited from and really enjoyed getting to hear all this kind of music. So to help get other people roped into the same thing is great.
I know we've kind of jumped around a bit between LaterGator and Hard to Say. Before we transition or do anything, like, is there anything I might have missed between LaterGator or Hard to Say that you want the people to know about?
Small Easter egg that I think a lot of people haven't picked up on yet, but if you like really look at the Hard to Say cover, there's actually one of our crocheted gators hiding on it. just as little Where's Waldo for anybody.
I'll have to look in closer on that album art. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that the cover art for Hard to Say is another one that was actually right across the street from the where the cover art was taken for the singles prior to that. I love getting some degree of nearby buildings and architecture and things into that deal. And then the Hard to Say cover art is right next to the Hoosier Dome, which is a venue that's real close to us that we really
Dome is
like.
home.
Dome is home, yes. And so it was a fun little homage there. But unfortunately, like a week after we put out our EP, well, fortunately, they are working on the building that was the subject of the cover art. And love when places are worked on and improved and things like that. But the only thing they really did in that week after it was take down the broken speaker. That was the subject of the cover art. Like they didn't like they maybe did some like I don't know brickwork or something like that. But like the only functional change to that building is that the speaker is gone. So there is no longer the cover art subject anymore around us, which is unfortunate. But it was a nice week while it lasted. But it was a real landmark, I guess.
Well, if anyone's ever in Indy, see if you can find the building without the speaker. That'd be kind of cool.
We'll never have the LaterGator box in the same way that there's the American Football House in Champaign.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was the only thing we were going for there.
That was the goal.
Try and get people to take silly selfies of themselves and post it on the internet. Yeah. No more.
Or I love what was it, Captain Jazz that did like took the house and just had it like on fire for their album artwork.
That cover art is so cool.
That was awesome.
Hopefully people still at least will attempt to do the LaterGator album artwork, find and take some pictures. Also, if you're in Indianapolis, go to the Hoosier Dome. I've gotten the pleasure to go there at least once, which is I felt like super cool that I got to be there because it's such an iconic spot for bands to play when they're coming through.
Yeah, we love that it's been around for like ages comparatively for a DIY venue too. Like this was around when I was in high school around here, so it's not often that you get to see a DIY venue last for that long. So that's really neat.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully it keeps lasting. We're in tough times every once in a while where we lose a lot of good DIY venues. So hopefully it keeps going.
Yeah.
But everyone, like I said, listen to Hard to Say because it is amazing. But we're going to start to transition here. This is obviously Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I'll definitely do that for you. But I know you have some beverages in front of you on this fine Saturday. What are y'all drinking today?
We are a real classy bunch over here drinking our Coors Lights.
The mountains are blue. You know what to do.
That is so true.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Damn, beer's cool.
You know all about that, Brandon. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a blonde vanilla latte from Redacted. I don't know if you want me to say Starbucks or not. From a coffee shop.
The boycott.
It's my second coffee of the day, and we're gonna play at a coffee shop later, so I will have at least one more later.
Yeah, we are a more coffee oriented band, I think, than beer, by slightly. I do love the two complimentary beers at a Healer show. That does sustain me and provide me life often in those times of need. But I will be interested to see. I feel like the last time we played at a coffee shop and we all had free complimentary coffee as we were there, we were playing everything about like 20 clicks faster as we went through our set. So we might finish in record time.
That's
Got
fine.
caffeinated, y'all.
Yeah, over caffeinated.
We try to speed run our sets.
I might try their hot chocolate this time around though.
Wow.
That would be smart. So Pugs will be playing at a normal tempo. The rest of us,
We're gonna leave them in the dust.
So, like those hardcore speed trials, except for emo music. Yeah,
Come on, fellas! I can only play so fast.
yeah. We'll be twinkling as fast as possible.
Yeah, that's always a dangerous move. Doing it that way, but hopefully it comes out well. I'm sure you guys got it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, should be a good time.
How about you? What are you drinking?
Today's episode, I'm drinking some Castle Cream Ale from Castle Danger Brewery here in Minnesota. It was in our work fridge, and I took the case home. So,
Hell yeah!
That's the way to do it.
Do you have like a preference? Like what
the
brand do you
go-to?
feel like you drink the most often on this show, or does it like truly switch
I try and mix it up, but generally it's like between hams and Modelo's. And then, depending on what when I get tired of those, then I'll get like a case of something else. So like have the Castle Creams, and then I have I can't think of the name of it. I have like some other stuff in the fridge. It just kind of depends, but generally it's hams because I get like a 30 rack for like what feels like $15, and then it'll set me for a while.
One of our absolute favorite DIY venues around here is Healer, which is also pretty close by, like the Hoosier Dome. And they, for a long time, it was every time you play a show there, you get your 2 free PBRs as the backbone of the emo scene. But they have switched to hams as well lately. And despite having a real negative relationship with hams through like college and things, I'm coming back around to it. I mean, you get enough positive experiences of drinking precisely 2 beers on like a Tuesday night with all your best buddies in the music scene, and you can develop a love for any beer.
Yeah, not complaining there. Free beer's a free beer.
Exactly.
Well, that's a dangerous line. I remember one time someone was like, "Hey, do you want a beer?" And I was like, "Yeah." They handed me a Natty Light. I just handed it right back. I was like, "I'll stay sober today. Don't worry about it."
I don't know if I've ever met anybody who will prefer a hams over a Natty Light. That is an interesting choice to me, but they're all about the same. I don't know.
Yeah, they're all in the same spectrum. At least it's not like an IPA, because then just that's a whole different thing, and like we don't. It's hard. Those are tough.
In my head, as someone who isn't drinking beer, the coolest, like in my head, when someone drinks a Budweiser, like that looks the coolest to me. Is that accurate, or
I don't know if I've seen many people in my life drink a Bud Heavy. Certainly no one under the age of like 40.
Sure. Interesting.
No,
I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen someone drink a Bud Heavy in the last in person in like the last 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I mean, you found a pretty rare breed there. If you've got somebody.
Well, I still think it looks cool.
Fair enough.
Stone Cold made it look cool to drink Bud Heavies.
I think Stone Cold is why I feel that way.
Because he said so.
Okay, so are you also a wrestling fan then?
Yes.
Or... Perfect. Okay.
Finally. Finally, someone with some taste in here.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by WWE on Netflix.
On Netflix.
Monday nights.
If you need a new theme song, Monday Night Raw, let me recommend Spaceman's Bit of My
the absolute dream. That's our whole reason for doing music, actually. Not for people to connect with it, not for any of it. No.
I want a wrestler to walk out to one of our songs so bad. I don't want to get signed. I don't want a gold record. I want a wrestler to walk out to Grown Ups.
Yes, yeah.
My dad says that sounds like a TV show theme song, so who knows?
Yeah, tough enough.
Just wait.
There you go.
Dude, I mean, he's more on like the indie circuit, but Zicky Dice, he was the lead singer from Heart to Heart.
Yep.
I can't remember who did his theme song, but they're like someone that's decently active in the music scene. And then there's I think he wrestles for AEW. I can't think of his name. Brody
King.
Yeah, Brody King. Like I think he uses his own bands.
I think is it God's Hate? Is that his?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've heard of that.
I didn't realize he was in wrestling.
Yeah, he's a wrestler. And then one of the guitarists for Every Time I Die is in, or at least was in AEW. I don't know if he's still under contract or not, but he was in as the Butcher. And he is just in Every Time I Die. And then there was I promise I'm not going to go too deep into this.
Oh no, we're going to get so much content out of this.
But there is another wrestler named Mark Andrews, and he's in a pop punk band. And I can't remember his pop punk band's name, but like his in-ring gimmick was he is a wrestler that is also in a pop punk band. So like he would come out like with a like backward snapback. And I think like one of his moves is he would like jump out of the ring and it'd be called the stage dive. And I remember I would like tell people about him in high school and they were like, that's the most you wrestler I've ever like a pop punk wrestler is like probably your favorite wrestler. And I was like, yeah, yeah, you're right.
I think what I'm hearing is we need to start our wrestling careers.
Yes.
The three of us can do this.
Yeah. Dude, there was a guy in I don't know if he still does it, but there was this guy in Canada that basically he would just take different bands and then put them into like he would like build them out into Raw, like make your logos and everything like that. So you could come out and like you would have your faction, which would be your band, and you could either do like a tag team match or like singles match. But like he would just pit bands versus each other, and it was so cool just to watch like all these DIY bands just like kind of battling it out.
There is a the Hot Boys Chicken place over in Fountain Square near us. They have done a like day festival thing that included a couple of bands and wrestling. I don't know if they happened at the same time, but I wonder if we volunteer to wrestle, if they'll let us play the show. You know, like
so sick.
I'll have to we'll have to get cooking on that. That's our next band objective.
That's the venture. That's the venture to go to.
Next plan: kick each other's ass.
We're all hopping up on the stage. We'll put on the worst show of our lives after that. Yeah.
That'd be pretty sick. I know some buddies did like I think it's been a couple years, but they did a show, but then they partnered with like the local like indie wrestling school or whatever. So like they would play a couple bands and then like have like wrestling outside. So like it was kind of like a little like fest in between. And then I just remember it was like 2013. So I'm originally from like Iowa, and Seth Rollins, you know, is from Davenport. Yep. So I was in the Iowa City area. He actually showed up at like the Pure Noise tour stop. No one realized he was in the back the entire time, but like it was fucking sick just to know that like we were in the same building, you know, no big deal.
Yeah, he's tight with a lot of those bands. I know like him and Dan Campbell from the Wonder Years are pals, and they've like collabed on stuff before. He has a really good taste in music.
Yeah. But enough wrestling for this podcast. We'll start. Tune in to the next podcast, Beers with Wrestlers or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Don't forget, Raw Mondays, 7:00 Central. Tune in on Netflix. It's on Netflix. Do you guys know it's on Netflix? That'd be sick if I got paid for this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with their track record, you are probably going to get sued for this episode.
Right. I just get a copyright claim out of nowhere. It's like, what did I do?
Can we be the first Beers with Bands episode to get a cease and desist? Let's find out.
But now we're pretty loose. This is kind of where we're in the fun part of the episode, where we kind of talk about some stories from you guys' time music, whether it's shows, tours, time recording. As I normally say, anything horrendous to tremendous, or any adjective in between. Usually just like the fun stories you always reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually the ones that everyone loves to hear. And they obviously don't have to be just LaterGator stories. They could be any time of music.
I think our weirdest gig story is probably one of the it was the first show we played.
It's classic.
Yeah, first gig we played after that Band in a Hat show. It was before Brandon joined in, and so it was Pugs and I and our old drummer there, and it was over at the Hoosier Dome actually, and they got asked to do an after party kind of show for Sublime with Rome when they came into town, and it was like a side project of the bassist from Sublime there, and we were like, sure, I like Sublime. Like, I don't know what the hell this after party show is going to entail at an all ages sober venue. But
I'll just say my hopes were way up. I was like, oh boy, an after party for Sublime.
And like us and the promoter, like we were all given the same feel of like they're gonna shout it out at like the biggest music venue in Indy and everything. Like when Sublime with Rome's playing and the whole deal there. Like it should be a great turnout. And so we're like, sick. This sounds great.
Quit your day job.
Exactly. We're huge. We're playing.
This is it.
We're playing through Sublime's bass rig. Like it's the whole deal there, you know. And it turns out that they did not actually announce anything about it at the main show, and so there was like a single flyer from the venue, and we go on at 9 p.m. I think, and there was a hard like in their contract, or whatever, that the Sublime with Rome band was gonna play at midnight, and so we play at 9 p.m. We play our 5 songs we had at the time.
I think we only had one of them was a cover of Constant Headache.
Yeah, so we played for like 20 minutes probably at 9 o'clock.
I think we wrangled together a song maybe like at last minute kind of thing, because like we had the 3 songs, one of them was the cover at Band in a Hat, and I think we threw
Lonely Old Type.
That's right. Yeah, that was like
piece.
the song. Yeah, that is the song that will probably never be released as a LaterGator song, but maybe as like a bootleg tape of just like, yep, this will probably.
I'll sell
come
it out
eventually.
of my trunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But no, like it was just some songs like we wrangled together a set, of just like, yep, this is gonna happen. We're the opening band. We got to make it work, and
so
you
we
know,
played to 5 people and then had like 2 hours of silence
roughly
on
5
stage
people, and
before.
that was my
before-
mom, my brother, his wife.
Yep. No one not an immediate family. Yeah.
Exclusively people obligated to go.
Yes.
And then we stuck around until 2 in the morning or so, I think, when the band finally got.
I think I was still working my old job at the time, so I think I had work at 6 in the morning the next day, so I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna stay for this next band, but I'm gonna scoot." Like,
Yeah,
I had
and he
to
was like
go.
midnight, and the other band had not shown up. No one had shown up for the main concert. Like we said, we're getting out of here. So yeah, and so many people showed up, like like rolling out of their Ubers, belligerently drunk from the other concert, being like, "Wait, what do you mean there's not a bar in here? I was told there was gonna be like this is the after party, right?" They're like, "No, this is a dry all ages venue." So more people were left when they went to the door than actually came in for the show, and it was a bit of a mess that way. It all ended up working out fine. The other opener we played with was a great group of folks, and it all turned out fine. But it was just a funny miscommunication of things, and yeah, it was a funny little introduction to the world of playing
I mean,
non-band and hat
I
gigs.
still listen to one of the bands that was there.
Yeah, the Happies is great.
The Happies. Shout out to the Happies. Like they had a sign put up at one of the stop signs on the corner there. It was there for like a good year after their show.
They had one of the best like kind of promotional strategies, I think, of
Yeah.
playing live shows where they I think they got pizza or something beforehand and then like tore up the pizza box into a bunch of just like scraps of cardboard and had some like puffy paint or something with them. They put just like listen to the Happies all over town, everywhere. They're like just zip tied the pieces of these pizza box that stayed up there for couple years now. Like there are still pieces of this pizza box around town that say "Listen to the Happies." It worked fantastic for them.
They were the nicest guys, and like I really enjoyed the music, but like it's the unfortunate thing is like we were the only people who were there to see their show,
Yeah,
and I felt really bad. But like at the same time, they got a listener out of it. I still listen to the Happies. Like I still
Yeah.
think they're really fun. They're from I forgot where in California they're
I
from,
think
but
it's Bay Area.
Bay Area
Somewhere,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So yeah, that's the weird gig story I think for us. Thankfully, we've had a really
the
good
biggest
track
one, yeah.
record though of fairly like tame and well organized
Yeah, I think
shows.
so.
unless you've got a lot of experience around several different states playing music.
That's true.
Uh, my favorite show story when I was in high school, I was in a metalcore band, and it was like
Light up ego risers and all, right? Like
yeah,
it was the whole...
we made homemade like light up risers and stuff like that. But like we recognized how funny it was that we were a metalcore band, and we just we really leaned into that. But something you learn is sometimes when you're in like the metal sphere, some people take it really seriously. And so some people really liked playing with us because we're easy to get along with, and we're like not gonna be annoying or frustrating, and we're gonna have a good time. And like some people really didn't like us because like I don't know, we just kind of goofed off a lot. But my favorite one that we did was we played a show and all of us wore matching tie-dye shirts for the show. Like we were like on a field trip together and didn't want to get lost. But our last song, we have like a big build up before the like big final breakdown. And something we did is while I was doing the like big build up on drums, all of us ate habanero peppers just to see if we'd then be able to play the breakdown without like tweaking out too much. And it went so badly. But
I think we should try that with our.
yeah, you know what? You should eat a habanero right before doing True Blues.
That would go so well. Yeah. Ruin the inside of my trumpet. The amount of PBR floating around the inside of that trumpet, it's already going to ruin it. But a habanero would really seal the deal.
It's like, can I focus? I don't know. We'll find out.
That's my favorite gig story. The first time I ever went on tour, it was when I was living in Nashville and we were a Nashville band, but our singer was doing a semester in New York. at that time. So we were gonna do like a week and a half long tour, and our first show was at New York. So like my band, the rest of my band minus our singer and the band that we were touring with, like somehow thought we were gonna fit all of our things and all of our people in one car. I don't know where that thought came from, but like we had to go and get a rental car like morning of. That rental car sucked, and we drove up to this show in New York, and like got there basically like as we were about to go on, essentially. So then like us seeing our singer for the first time in a semester was like us playing a show with her. And we agreed beforehand. We were like, this first show is just going to be a band practice in front of other people. I think because we have the rest of our tour to like practice for. But we ended up spending a total of maybe like 6 hours in New York City, and in that 6 hours, I think we got like 7 parking tickets. Just because we kept on like parking somewhere, being like, this should be fine, and then we'd go run in to get food or run into the music store, whatever we needed, and it would come out of there be a parking ticket. So we'd like move it to somewhere else, and then we get a parking ticket, and it was almost impressive how many parking tickets we got, spending so little time in there.
Jeez.
So yeah, good times.
Yeah. Still a 0 parking ticket count for LaterGator,
Yes.
I think.
That's what I judge this band on.
That's true. Clean slate so far.
No, yeah, that's pretty impressive with the parking tickets. Somehow when like we were in New York and around like the cities, one, we never got a parking ticket on our van or trailer, and two, we never got broken into, which was
Nice.
crazy because I remember I was telling someone that like we had met our friend in like one of the, I don't remember exactly where we were in New York City, but he like we met him at his apartment. We parked on the street and then like had him like we like wedged it in and then left, and he took us to Long Island for like we went and saw other friends for like a couple hours, and someone was like, and you just left your van and trailer there like at night, and we're like, looking back on it, yeah, it sounds stupid because like we could have easily come back and just had it been emptied because we were not like parked like super like close to anyone, so like could have easily just popped that door, but thankfully I don't know, we had a good time. Nothing went wrong.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But as we start to wind down here, I like to always end off these episodes on the kind of like a high note. So my final question to the three of you is, from your time in LaterGator, what has been the one moment that you always think back to, or your favorite moment that you've experienced?
Well, I'd say its favorite moments is it's always right before and after our set. It's always right before. It's like, all right, guys, best set yet. It's gonna be the best set yet. And like, obviously we're goofing around, we're having a good time. So it's like, all right, it's gonna be the best set yet. And after, it's always like, hey, that was the best set yet.
But during the set, it's just a blur.
Yeah. We'll just black out for 25 minutes. But before
I
and
become a
after.
different person, just different person.
No, I was thinking along the same lines, and I'm gonna to join in on your exact same answer. Yeah, we love gassing each other up in this band of like, yeah, we the best music. We're gonna make the best set. We the best music. And yeah, before and after sets that way, just just like playing live shows in general. I also have a bit of that blackout for 25 minutes kind of feeling, but like there are definitely times where like we don't have a ton as going on instrumentally to where like I can actually somewhat be aware of what's happening besides just hitting notes and such. Then just that sort of connecting and making live music is a great time there.
That's crazy. I feel like I'm like painfully aware of who I am for like the entirety of our sets at all times, for better or for worse. My favorite has been that same tour that we got a million parking tickets. The last show of that tour was at Healer, actually, which is like the one here in Indy that we really love playing at. And I mean that happened in 2019, and I remember in 2019 like that was the venue that I remembered the most vividly from that tour, and I remember just like absolutely falling in love with that venue. And then when I made the decision I was moving out of Cincinnati to like I was gonna move out of Cincinnati and like decided I was gonna come to Indianapolis, like Healer was kind of one of the first thoughts that came to my mind of like, wow, I'm really excited that I get to go to Healer again. I get to like see this venue again. I'm so excited about that. And then the first show that I played with these guys actually was at Healer. And it was just like a really touching moment for me of like after 2 years of kind of like putting music on a hiatus for a little bit, like I gotta like come back to it. And like not only did I get to come back to it, but I like gotta come back to this thing that like I knew I was looking forward to. And it just felt like it was a real like you're never stuck kind of moment. Like you can always kind of like circle back to things that you like. And so that first show was like really, really special to me and like validating like I still care about this and I'm still excited to do this. And that has always like really stuck with me.
Yeah, that show was really an incredible one for me as well. That I love all the folks in Summer Brews. They are the nicest people, and like we're playing shows with them in whatever configuration of folks for whatever band it is all the time there. And yeah, like getting to play guitar here with these two over at Healer before sets and just hanging out and doing all that sort of thing there is a ton of fun.
Well, those are all amazing moments, and I hope you get to keep experiencing those. Obviously, Fauxchella, if we do this again in the future, I'm sure we'll pop up on some of these answers. But I mean, this has been a great time, and like if anyone's looking for merch, music, or LaterGator in general, where can they find it?
Yeah, we've got all three of those things up on our Bandcamp page, and one of those link in bio things all across our social media deals there to get all the things. But yeah, for the most part, it is easiest to find merch and things when we are playing live shows. A whole lot easier than shipping stuff out. And Lillian's always coming up with new Gator colors and configurations of things. But if she can find something she can unwind from Goodwill or wherever, I think she's working on taking apart a scarf and turning it into Gators right now. So get the latest and greatest that way coming to things live. But yeah, go check out our Bandcamp and get all that there.
Instagram, socials, Twitter.
Our Instagram is later_gator_band.
That is true.
I don't remember what our Twitter is.
Yeah, we have had a very hard time of differentiating ourselves from the other LaterGator that is out in the world. Shout out LaterGator.
All love.
No,
oh yeah,
so
like
cool.
they are.
Because I'm pretty
very
sure
nice
we
folks.
showed up at exactly the same time as they did.
In a way, it's kind of beautiful, honestly.
Yeah, real twin spirits kind
Yeah.
of thing there. Yes, so we are the LaterGator with no space in between, except on some social media
Which
platforms
makes
where we
the
have
social media
a space
look-
between and an exclamation
And
point.
most flyers we end up on.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I've seen a few different variations where like one there's a comma. I think on one flyer one I saw.
oh yeah, so we are an enigma. It's hard to track us down. Usually we're a single word, but good luck, I guess. Just follow the other LaterGator too. Really, just go find both of us. Listen to both both bands' music. You're gonna get a better experience.
Some say if you listen to both of us at the same time, it weirdly lines up.
That's true. We need to put out like vinyl together so you can play
That's
both at the same
awesome.
time. So that's us.
Well, depending on where you found this episode, whether you found it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, or you watched the YouTube version and got to see their lovely faces like I did today, check the hyperlinks down below. Follow them on all the socials. Be ready for new music, new merch. See them at Fauxchella if you have tickets. If not, be ready. I think by this episode, day passes might already be out. So just be sure to see them at Fauxchella with the rest of the sick bands that are on that lineup. One last big thank you to Jonathan, Pugs, and Brandon for taking the time out of their Saturday to sit down with little old me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having us on this. This was a great time to chat with you.
Dude, this has been a good time. Hopefully we get to connect again in the future, whether it's doing one of these or seeing you guys on the road somewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everyone, go follow LaterGator. Go listen to Hard to Say. And I'll catch everyone on the next episode. See ya.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Beers with Bears.